Blarla. Hello peeps and welcome back to Project Hospital. Welcome back to Hospital Services DLC. The hospital is changing more and more between each episode. So in the last episode we moved general surgery, and we can see here now that it is fully up and running now here on this floor. So cardiology, actually no, it'll be neurology that ends up joining it in the future. Looking forward to that. I never thought that general surgery would be so high up in the hospital, but there we are. Things must change. And of course, we were doing this because internal medicine needed to go to the ground floor. Here's the old internal medicine department. Look, it's like a ghost department. Nothing happening on it. We are going to turn this into cardiology. So yeah, looking forward to that. So it's not going to go to waste. It's just going to be, we're going to repaint the walls a lovely pink. That's what we're going to do. And then here is the new internal medicine. Oh yeah, actually that's very true. I think there's only 2 stretcher nurses up there, which is a bit mental. Yes, look. Here it is, new internal medicine. We can see that it has now broken out into this space over here. It's fully operational. It's doing its thing. Really, really pleased with it. So they now have 3 diagnostic rooms, and they have 2 of these treatment units as well. You can see here I've also put in this a doctor's office, which is great. Really, really pleased with it. So internal medicine is now all together in this space. Now there has also been some changes over here. Look at this, it's all looking a bit different. Why is that, you may ask? So I was having a problem with internal medicine. I was finding that I was getting a lot of internal medicine patients that needed USG scans, and what was frustrating was that there is a USG machine in the internal medicine cardiography room, and I couldn't work out why I couldn't send them here to get a USG scan. So I went on Steam and I asked the community at large if they could shed any light on this situation. What is it that I'm missing, you know? Turns out that radiology can have its own cardiography unit and sonography unit. It's right here. I feel like I probably knew this a while ago, but it's been a very long time since I played Project Hospital, and I think I just completely forgot it, and it was like a lightning bolt hit me when I read this reply. Now I could have put them up into the radiology department, but it made sense to me to move them into this area with the other cardiography and sonography departments. So you can see here that I have made a little area for it, and here are the radiology versions of that room. You may also notice that I have redecorated all of these rooms. They've lost their toilets now because of course they have a huge toilet over here, and really there's no need for patients to be using these toilets and stuff like that, and there's no reason why technicians can't come over here and use this toilet. They're not that busy, these technicians, not that busy. So this new design was inspired actually by the prefab. To be honest, a lot of my designs are inspired by the prefabs. So that's why they look quite different. I initially used the prefabs for these 2 rooms and liked them so much that I've pretty much kept it, but I've jazzed it up a bit. But one thing that they were doing was they were using blue for sonography and red for I clearly struggle with that word. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep that same theme, given that we can't have beds all the different colours of the departments. This made sense. So not only can we see, and I've decided to put all the sonographies on this side and the cardiographies on the lower side as well, so it's much easier to see where everything is, along with the colours of the room, which helps us denote department. So there we are. That's coming along in leaps and bounds. But it does mean that with the addition of these 2 rooms, we are now done. There's no more, I kept saying we've got all this extra space down here for, overflow and stuff like that. Well, not anymore. It is now all completely in use. So today, what will we be doing? Well, we've got this from the insurance policy. We spent a bit of the episode last time with Blarla. Let's pause it in general surgery. There she is down here, my custom created character. And we did the first insurance with her. But now we need to correctly diagnose patients of controlled doctors in intern mode. Intern mode, I hear you asking, what on earth is intern mode? So you'll see here that normal mode, and that I just flicked through them because I've been doing a lot of this on specialist mode recently. And we can see here that Blarla is a controlled doctor. We're going to get rid of Blarla. We're going to spend this episode with a different doctor. Indeed we are. We are going to spend this episode over in internal medicine with Squeezle, who is one of my Patreons. I have been diligently and carefully putting my Patreons into the game, and I thought it would be nice if we sometimes spent some time with them. So Squeezle is going to become, we're going to spend the day with Squeezle. So intern mode then. So first of all, you need a controlled doctor. So we just need to make sure we're in internal medicine so that when we click on here, we have the right doctors showing up. And Squeezle, there she is. Now, you'll see here that we are in normal mode. And we've got 2 columns here. When we click on this, we open up this. We've got all patients, so we can make these changes apply to all patients or just the patients that are patients of our controlled doctors. I tend to go with all patients. And you can start upping the difficulty. So we can see here, this one says no hints in diagnostics. I can show you what that means in a bit. Hide number of hidden symptoms, so we don't know how many symptoms there are. And disable pulsating hidden symptoms. Of course, a pulsating symptom means it will cause the patient to crash if it's not dealt with quickly. Using this, we can hide whether they actually have a symptom that could cause them to crash. So you're slowly upping the difficulty. And I've been loving Doctor Mode. I absolutely love it. This is exactly the sort of thing I was after, I think, in my first series. I talked about, making looking after patients in Doctor Mode more difficult, and my god, here it is. So you can if you pick one, you're in intern mode, and it doesn't matter which one you pick, it's intern mode. Pick 2 of these and it becomes resident mode. Again, doesn't matter the order, pick 3 of them and you're in specialist mode. So we are going to start with arguably the easiest, no hints in diagnostics, and that means we're in intern mode. And what we need to do is cure sorry, I just clicked off the screen. For you, it would look the same. What we need to do is correctly diagnose 10 patients. And we're going to do that with Squeezle today. Indeed, we are. I'd like to get this done. So here we are with Squeezle. You'll also notice that these offices have changed. Look at this. The offices down here have changed as well. They have had a complete revamp. So you can see here that the toilet has been removed from inside her office, and now is this pokey little thing here. The reason I had the toilets in the offices was because in these clinic rooms they may ask patients to get stool samples or urine samples, and the idea was to have a toilet close by, so pop in there and bring it back instead of walking right across the hospital, maybe coming to these toilets. But it wasn't working because it was inside the clinic office. Patients simply wouldn't use it. Only staff would come in and use it. It was highly annoying. It wasn't functioning at all. So I had to come up with something a little bit janky, but do you know what? It works beautifully. Now they just come out here, pop in there and come back. It's beautiful. And anybody that's waiting in these waiting rooms are frequently using this toilet. It's worked out really, really well. I'm really pleased with it. And I felt like such a small waiting area didn't need 2 toilets. So I cut this one out and made it, as you can see, into like a little breakout area of the waiting room so they can deal with entertainment, food and drink and whatnot. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with it as well. And I don't like perfectly square rooms and perfectly square sort of setups, so this is really starting to appeal to me. It's definitely adding interest to the design. Yeah, and oh, what was that? Yeah, the new thing. This is one of the new items in the game, this whiteboard. So often I will ask my doctors to do a differential on patients, and this board makes a differential so much quicker. It's a great item to have where they're doing regular diagnosing. So yes, total revamps of their offices, and I think it's been going pretty well. Right. Looks like Squeezle is about to call in her first patient. We have Kate Anderson here who, it's very straightforward. It seems like she's been diagnosed and that she was in hospital. Look, she was actually hospitalised. So she's come out, she's had her insulin, and it is time to just say, yes, you're all good. There's no symptoms here. You are ready to go home. That was it. Oh, that was boring. That was boring. So I love this. Even Squeezle has come in here to use the toilet. Yeah, the hand dryer is actually outside the toilet on the wall here because I couldn't get it to fit in this tiny little pokey area, but they use it. It seems to be fine. It's a little bit weird, but it gets the job done, which is what matters. Now look, we can see here that he is rocking quite violently, isn't he? He could have a pulsating symptom. Oh, I'm used to being in specialist mode. So of course we can see that he has a pulsating mode. Okay, so we have Mark Cole here. He's having an interview. There we go. So we're ready to move on. Now, we ticked in doctor mode, didn't we? Let's have a look here. No hints in diagnostics. You might be thinking, well, what on earth does that mean? So usually in available examinations, as we discover more about somebody's symptoms and we whittle down the possible diagnoses, this also is automatically whittled down in what available examinations your hospital is able to do that is relevant to the symptoms and possible illnesses that they may have. Well, not anymore. With this box ticked, we can now see all the available examinations in the game, including ones that aren't available in this hospital or on this department. I'm pretty sure it's showing ones that, yeah, like this one. I don't actually have this radiology room yet, but it is still showing there. So yeah, everything is there. So you have to work out what is a sensible examination to do. Well, I would say interview and physical is always extremely sensible. Now, I would then recommend using this open diagnostic table. Now, luckily, he's already been diagnosed. This keeps it simple, keeps it very, very simple. But we can see here that the illness that he has a high risk factor, means if he it will make him crash, just this illness alone. But we can come across here and we can see, look, we've diagnosed this symptom, we've diagnosed this symptom, and this, and now this from a physical. None of these symptoms can cause crashing. All right, we've got medium and lows. There's also chest pain here, which we have not diagnosed, but here we have tachycardia, which can also cause crashing. So not only can the illness that he's got cause crashing, but so can the tachycardia. Now we know that it's probably this symptom that is causing that pulsating symptom there, and sending him for his treatment should fix it all. But of course, if you're in specialist mode, it could be a tachycardia. and you know that there's a risk factor for it, even if you can't see these pulsating. So it gets really quite interesting. But what we're going to do is, because it's still as easy as seeing that there's only one hidden symptom and that it is pulsating, then we know that all we need to do is send him for his treatment. So we're going to hospitalise him on the high dependency unit, and we are going to send him for that treatment. This is the treatment that if this problem is not caught quick enough and they don't get to this treatment sharpish, we seem to lose a lot of patients that need this. So upping the doctors and the rooms has certainly helped, but the game has a lot of hard-coded decisions that it makes when you're trying to treat patients that can make it very difficult to get them to this treatment quickly, which can also be very aggravating, I can tell you. Squizzle is calling in the next patient. I've kept Mark Cole here so that we can keep an eye on his progress. He's getting his treatment, so now I'm happy to put in a couple of these other things just to increase his comfort level. Something I would normally do before sending them for treatment, but with this particular treatment, as mentioned, I like to do it as quickly as possible. Right, so who do we have here? Jessica Johnson. Oh my god, we've diagnosed it again already, and we've got no hidden symptoms. There are no available examinations. Wow, okay, she's already had quite a lot done here. So we just need to send her for her treatment, which we can see is here. Can they do that here, or do we need... She needs to be hospitalised. Okay, let's also give her some things that will help increase her comfort, because look, we did some tests that reduced her comfort, and we want nice high scores. So if we can use some of these to... Actually, I don't think... Yeah, the antibiotics means that this will be removed from the list. But actually, I'm going to give her these. These are painkillers. They have a positive on the discomfort level. So this should go up to 5 stars once she gets these painkillers, and then of course her treatment. Hopefully. Can we have some better patients, please? Ooh, breaking news. Food contamination at a local restaurant has caused a serious outbreak of illness. Even though health inspectors have closed the restaurant down, local hospitals must to prepare for an increased influx of patients. Local hospitals must to prepare. Okay, well, there we are then. So, look, we've got a whole bunch of patients coming into emergency. This is going to make our focus on intern mode a little more tricky. But I'm very keen to concentrate on Squeezel's patients, and I shall do this in between, because of course I need to successfully finish 10 events in a row. I've done 6. I have to do this. A new patient has arrived for Squeezel. Unfortunately, again, we already know what it is, so there's not a lot to be done here. We can see there's no pulsating symptoms. Okay. Yes, so let's... she'll still interview him, but we can see here that his discomfort levels, we know the 2 symptoms that are causing discomfort for the patient. So what we are going to do, we can see here for breathing problems, we're going to give him something to just deal with none, apparently. We might go, is that not going to do? Can't give him painkillers. Might try. That probably won't work. Well, this will help increase his levels. Is there any kind of... I'd like to give him a painkiller. Let's do you know what we'll do? We will take his temperature to see if he has a fever in these hidden symptoms, because then I might be able to give him one. Charles Hill. Oh yeah, that's the guy we're dealing with. With this emergency, I have set them all to high, or almost, to code blue, so that the hospital can largely prioritise them. I think mostly this will sort itself out, but we'll see that we're probably getting quite full over here. What we can do, just to alleviate pressure on emergency, is we can ask some of these guys... Oh, Frank Hall. Cool, blimey. Help him, guys, because I can't do it right now. Is we can actually ask for some of these guys to go to different departments, so we can say, oh, hang on, they're already being examined. Look, they're already going to a doctor. They're going to a doctor. Ah, Frank is collapsing here, so he will go into trauma. I've got another patient here collapsing, who will also go into trauma. So trauma is going to get very busy. Trauma needs a lot of work in terms of busyness. That much I can tell you. Elizabeth Walker. So they're actually handling it quite well. But what we could do here, we could say, just to take a bit of pressure off of emergency, we're going to send them to general surgery. We're going to send them to internal medicine. We're going to send you to, oh look, she's going to crash as well. We're going to send you to cardiology, orthopedy. So you can just split them around different departments. You know, as long as they're getting diagnosed and seen to quickly. I mean, that's the main thing. Right. Good. Lovely. Now, we've done everything we can for Charles. It's now time to send him home. And that is two successfully diagnosed. Mark Cole here seems to be absolutely fine. So we're going to get rid of him now. Well, yesterday was fairly uneventful. We're on to the next day. Look, we only did 2, but she's called in her first patient of the day. Now, it's nice to actually see something where we don't already have a diagnosis. We do have a flashing, a pulsating symptom. We can see here she's already had a lot of tests. In fact, bearing that in mind, let's have a look here. So, has she had a CT? She hasn't. That's good. Well, it's not good, but has she had an echo out of all of these? She has had an echo. So she doesn't have this, and to be honest, it does say cardiology. So that's one ruled out. And then this one, okay. She's had that, so she probably has this. Now, we could send her for a CT, but I'm confident that this is the illness that she has because we've been able to rule these 2 out. So let's get her on here. Get her onto this. She needs to go to a ward for that. Before we do that, I'd like to increase her comfort levels. So we're going to help with her breathing and give her some painkillers just so that we can solve this. So she's a bit happier, but she is going to crash if she doesn't get her thing soon. So let's now hospitalise her and ask for the treatment. We'll keep an eye on her, but as soon as she gets this treatment, we should see this pulsating symptom stop, even though we've not officially diagnosed it. Pneumonia, nasty. So let's see here. We know it's pneumonia. We need to get her an IV antibiotics. We're going to hospitalise her and give her the antibiotics. Also going to give her some painkillers. And we're going to help her breathing problems. But I'm also going to keep a closer eye on her. What other things here in pneumonia? We can see here that she can have a bacteria issue. So it's probably worth us also running a microbial. I mean, it is possible these IV antibiotics will stop all this, but I feel like we should probably, mind you, it is IV antibiotics for that as well. And that. So we probably don't need to do it. Just go straight. Keep an eye on her. Just go straight there. Jane has finally got her treatments, and we can see here that she is absolutely fine. So no need to worry about her anymore. Elizabeth Martin seems to be absolutely fine. That's fantastic. So don't need to worry about her anymore either. Oh my God, it is busy today. Yesterday hardly anyone turned up, and today it's mental. God, there's another one that's already had loads and loads of tests, and we've not got a lot back from it. So looking at these illnesses and the examinations that we've done, we know it's not this. It's not this. This is diagnosed with PCR testing, which she had, and it came back negative. So we know it's not that. So that's that one gone. Which leaves these two, which can both be diagnosed with chest x-rays, or these two, which can be done with CTs. Now, can I do an evaluation? So the evaluation is considering all the symptoms and examinations recently carried out to specify the diagnosis. If I can get it down to these two or these two, I'd be really happy. Well, that didn't help. Let's try a differential, which is a special case review that reduces the amount of possible diagnoses, can only be performed by a doctor with advanced diagnosis specialisation. It removed the same one I did, so it's not been massively useful. Okay, so we're going to have to send her for a CT and a chest x-ray by the looks of it. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get away with it. So CT and a chest x-ray for this lady. Okay then, next. Elizabeth Foster here is a fresh case. In fact, a fresh case. No potential cause to crash. So interview and a physical, always a good way to start. See what we can discover. Wow, the physical was really good. It helped us find a bunch of symptoms and whittle it down to these two things. Now, a blood test would help diagnose this. And a blood test would also help diagnose this. Well, that's pretty good, isn't it? But maybe we could see if she has a temperature. We've still got two hidden symptoms. So maybe there's something that we can do here that will help not have to wait for a blood test. So, always worth a punt, isn't it? Let's try taking her temperature, because if she has a fever, then we know it's this. Nope, she doesn't have a temperature. This could also help. If we listen to her chest, if this is a symptom that she has, it could help us discover this. Did not help, because of course they might not necessarily have all these symptoms. They just have a selection of these symptoms. Is there anything easy that we can do? See, we didn't get tenderness from a physical examination. Abdominal palpitations could help us discover that it's this illness. Nope, there's no avoiding it. We are going to have to do a blood draw. Sorry, Elizabeth. It's needle time. Thank you, Elizabeth. We shall see you later. Bye. Elizabeth Foster's blood test came back. We have been able to diagnose her. She needs a blood transfusion, which she's probably going to need to be hospitalised for. So there we are. We've managed to diagnose somebody. Doesn't register yet. She needs to come back to the clinic office. Squeezle here is exhausted. And is just having something to eat, a break. She's gone to the kitchens I recently built at reception here. So she's quite close to her office, which is nice. And she's been able to have a proper lunch and to increase her rest levels, which is great because she had an extremely busy day so far. Jane Moore. Right, so surely if I do that, thank you, 5. We've managed to do this one okay. Right, let's try and increase her comfort level. So because of the testing, look, has caused all sorts of upset. So she's complaining about breathing problems. I'm going to give her some painkillers. In fact, we can give her a double whammy of painkillers. They both have large positive boosts, which will help with this. Indeed it will. And we've also given her treatment for the actual illness that she has. She's also complaining about fever, so let's give her something for that. Yeah, and we can get this to 5 stars, and then we can send her home. What is this? Elizabeth has had her blood transfusion, so she is now absolutely fine. Excellent. Day 3 with Squeezle. It continues. Who do we have here? Nancy Williams, already diagnosed. Can you believe it? We have Elisa Anderson that has turned up here. She's now being called into the office. And look, We've got quite a lot of potential things going on here. We'll start with the simple stuff, an interview and a physical examination, and take it from there, I think. Stop playing patience, Squeezle. This is unacceptable. Okay, so physical did help. Look, right down to 2. That is amazing. Is that not amazing? I feel like that's amazing. So, yeah, very much blood related, aren't they? I guess we are just going to have to go ahead and order a blood test. I really don't think there's any way around that. There's no point doing a stool analysis if we can just do a blood test instead. So I think it's pretty slam dunk. We shall do the blood draw. Yeah, I think that's what we will do. She's got some discomfort, so I think we're going to give her some antibiotics. It'll help remove this discomfort here. Can't remove the discomfort of the blood draw. I've got to do it. I've got to do it, Lisa. So Lisa is on her way to the labs. Next patient we can see here on the patient list is Jessica King. When they grayed out, Nancy, we sorted out and we sent her home. Lisa is still very much under our care. She's just getting lab work done, so you can see that how this works. And also, Squeezle will write reports. There'll be times in the day where you'll see that she's at her computer writing reports, because she will write a report on each patient that she's seen, which I kind of like. So let's see here. Oh, okay. So we've already got a diagnosis here. She's already quite comfortable, so we're just going to give her the eardrops and send Jessica home. So we'll see that Jessica will grey out here as well, same as Nancy Williams did, because she's all resolved and has gone home. And that means that Squeezle at some point will also write a report, and it will probably be on Jessica King. Let's see if she'll do it right away. No, she's decided to go to the toilet instead. She will do it. Lisa Anderson is back, and look, the blood test did indeed help us find out what the problem is. So in she comes. In she comes to the office, so we can now give her a diagnosis, which means, boom, this has now gone up to 7, which is great. And can we do this in the doctor's office, or do we have to send her to... We have to hospitalise her for her treatment. There we go. Okay. So there we go. Off she goes. But that did count because we did diagnose her. There we go. Lisa Anderson, all sorted. She'll be fine. But we can see here that she probably won't be writing a report on Lisa Anderson because the case didn't get tied up with Squeezle. Squeezle actually sent her for hospitalisation, so it's now been transferred to another doctor, and that doctor, once they have treated, Lisa will write the report. But Squeezle, I think, has written a report on Nancy this morning, but hasn't done one on Jessica King just yet. She's slacking. She's off filling free time again. She's writing reports. She's doing it. She's doing it. She's writing her reports. Well done, Squeezle. Well done, Squeezle. She just needed a good meal, that was all. Day 4 was Squeezle. I thought we would look at the office from a different angle today. Of course, you can add other doctors to your doctor mode so that you can get through this fast. So it's just that, you know, I want to do this with Squeezle. She is a patron, and I'd like to do this with Squeezle. I like that because Squeezle is a good boss. She's also the supervisor for the entire internal medicine department, by the way. Kind of like that. She's her own boss. It's absolutely great. She's just coming into work now. There she is. Perfect timing. I don't think there's any patients here just at the moment. No. Okay. Ready for the day. Oh yeah, you'll notice in these rooms these tanks are green, and that's because oxygen tanks tend to be green. Not always, not in every country, but in America, I think they're always green, and I think they're quite often green in the UK, but again, not always. So I thought, well, oxygen tanks make sense for these rooms, so I've made them all green throughout these rooms. But I have done a bit of research in some of the other rooms I've decorated and made them appropriate colours of of tanks you might find in those rooms. That's how nuts I am. Margaret Martin, what is happening? So I've interviewed her, found nothing. So let's do a physical, shall we, and see if we can find out anything else about Margaret. We found that she has a fever and not much else. Great. Well, I'm seeing a few things here with the ears, so maybe we should do an ear examination. Didn't help us find anything. I'm going to see if she can hear okay, though. All the same. I'm using this piece of equipment over here. Okay, fair enough then. Now, to help me hone down this list a little bit more, what I'm probably going to do is focus on things that are internal medicine and ignore the other departments for now, you know. She can't be worrying about other department stuff. We should worry about her own tests. So I think that would be good. Now, it seems to me, looking through the internal medicine stuff that we have here, she would greatly, we'd be able to capture a lot of them through two tests, CT, but also the microbial. Where is it? There it is. So let's get that going first, okay, and then order the CT. I think that's what we will do with Margaret, and then we'll see what that results in. Richard Clark is coming into the office. Ooh, we have a we have a pulsating symptom. So we're going through an interview. A lady who is unrelated to us. She's in emergency. It's just notifying us. She will go to trauma. So let's do a physical. And do you know what? I think we should listen, mind you. Let's do the physical first, but I'm thinking maybe having a little listen to the chest, looking at what we've got here might be a pretty good idea. Although, two of them, so, ooh, we might be able to, USG, might be able to do this with the differential, if the physical doesn't help find anything. Well, the physical managed to get it down to what I already suspected. So let's get I think probably the differential. She comes over to her board, and this is so much faster with the board. So much faster. It's a great item. There we go. So the differential helped us find the diagnosis faster than sending him. Is it an MRI, USG? Now, the problem with this is that it's that treatment that if they don't get it quickly can cause all kinds of problems. So what I'm going to do is send him to the high dependency unit straight away and send him straight in for this treatment, but I'm going to need to keep a close eye on him, because as soon as he's had that, I'm going to want to send him to a cardio so that we can uncover this tachycardia he clearly has. Or, well, doesn't clearly have it. It could be that this treatment alone will fix it. Don't know. It's either this, or possibly both. Either way, I think we should keep a close eye on this guy. There we go. Richard Clark went for that treatment, and this has stopped, so he doesn't have a tachycardia. Thank goodness. What I do want to do, though, is increase his comfort level, so I'm going to give him some painkillers, and also help with the oxygen levels. We should be able to, once he's had this treatment, just help make him a little bit more comfortable while he's resting up. But it looks like Richard is going to be absolutely fine. We have a new patient. Let's have a look here. Carol Davis. Let's do a physical, shall we? Doesn't look like it's too complicated, this one. Okay, so the physical didn't find anything, but an ear examination clearly makes a lot of sense here. So let's do that. Now the ear examination came back negative, which to me tells us we know what's wrong, because with this, if it was this one, an ear examination would have absolutely confirmed it. And the ear examination came back negative, so she must have this. She must do. Now, can I do that here? I don't believe so, but let's just have a... No, I do need to send her for hospitalisation. There we go. So that's what we shall do. One more. We can diagnose one more. And we have this intern mode done. It just so happens that our nighttime internal medicine doctor is Patreon Sam Very. So maybe we could do one patient with Sam here. He's in the other office to Squizzle, and Squizzle is his supervisor. Look, and what I like here is that Sam says that he has a good boss, plus 2 positives. I think that's kind of neat. I've added Sam to controlled doctors, so let's see if he gets any patients this evening that he can diagnose, and that would help us get to 10. Well, it was such a quiet night that Sam didn't get a single patient come in. However, Squizzle has come into work, and we do have a Jordan Lee. Let's have a look at this. Ooh, well, we know it's definitely not anything to do with neurology because, again, you know, we don't have the department. We've got a lot of ear things here. So let's do a physical, which potentially might not show us much. I might order the ear examination right now. Indeed, the ear examination found nothing. Let's check his hearing, because he has been complaining about tinnitus here. Okay, he does have hearing problems. We've discovered this. I would like to take his temperature, because if he does have a fever, it could be this here. So let's take his temperature, because we can do that right here, just quickly. But after that, I think it's going to be a CT. I suppose we could do an evaluation for this, if the temperature measurement shows us nothing, which it didn't. Okay, do you know what? I'll quickly do the evaluation. But then I think he's going to need to be sent for a CT. Yeah, so it's not this, which means CT, the ear examination, so it's not this either. So these two we can scrap. So it's this or this, and they're both diagnosed with a CT. So there we are. We'll send Jordan for a CT. We have a Robert Green. Let's give him an interview. And we've got quite a few symptoms here already. Let's continue with a physical examination. He also has a headache and chest pain, so I think we might also listen to his chest and maybe take a temperature measurement and see what it gets us. Okay, so the physical examination was very telling in this situation. We're going to do an evaluation. An evaluation helps us discover whether it could be lupus or not. Which might save us sending him to a CT, although we might do it anyway because he's not in any danger of crashing. He's quite safe. There we go. So that's what we're diagnosing him with, which means we have diagnosed 10 patients. That is absolutely fantastic. What I'd like to do, though, before I send him away, is just try and make him feel a little bit better. So we're going to give him some meds. Look at this. For the objective to be completed, we got 50,000 in grants, which is really amazing. Really amazing. So yeah, I'm interested in increasing his comfort levels because they are pretty bad at the moment. He is going to need to be hospitalised. But first of all, let's get him as comfortable as possible because there is no blinding rush to send Robert away. There we go. So he's pretty good now. So now I can send him to the ward. And you know what? We might give him this as well for his treatment. But before we end, we've got Jordan Lee here, who had his CT scan. And you can see here that it has indeed helped us find his problem. So I'm going to select that now, just so that you can see what he needed. and it's all pretty good. It's Jordan Lee and Robert Greene all wrapped up. Thanks, Squeezle. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you to all my Patreons for their continued support.